It began like a ghost from history. In June 2024, a Russian nuclear-powered submarine, Kazan, and the frigate Admiral Gorshkov sailed into Havana, the same waters that once triggered the Cuban Missile Crisis. Cuba insisted the visit was friendly and non-nuclear, but the symbolism was impossible to miss. A Russian war machine resurfacing just 90 miles from Florida. The Cold War image was back, this time armed with zircon hypersonic missiles.
Cuba insists the visit poses no threat to the region and no nuclear weapons are on board.
A week and a day.
The timing was deliberate. As Russia's war in Ukraine dragged on and Western weapons flowed to Kyiv, Putin's flotilla performed live fire drills in the Atlantic, simulating long-range strikes. For Moscow, it was a declaration of reach, a reminder that if NATO can surround Russia, Russia can reach America's doorstep. The move sent shockwaves through Washington, a 21st century redux of a crisis the world once thought buried in history books.
The West only listens when it sees strength.
Fast forward to March 2025. Russia and Cuba quietly signed a new intergovernmental military cooperation agreement in Havana and Moscow, laying the groundwork for deeper defense ties. And on October 15th, 2025, Vladimir Putin signed the ratification decree, turning symbolism into strategy. The Pact legalizes joint training, logistics exchange, and arms collaboration, formalizing what began with the arrival of Russian warships in Havana. For the first time in decades, Moscow had an official military foothold in the Caribbean.
President Vladimir Putin has signed a law ratifying the agreement between the government of the Russian Federation and the government of the Republic of Cuba on military cooperation.
But that wasn't all. Even as diplomats spoke of cooperation, intelligence reports painted a darker picture. Ukraine's HUR revealed that over 1,000 Cuban nationals had fought for Russia in Ukraine, with 96 killed or missing. Recruited through social media job ads promising construction work, many were flown to Russia, trained for 2 weeks at the Avant-Garde Center, and sent to the front lines. Contracts written only in Russian turned these men from job seekers into soldiers, Cuba's invisible legion in Putin's war.
At least 1,076 Cuban nationals have fought or are fighting for Russia in Ukraine. 96 are known to have died or gone missing in action.
Havana denies everything. The Cuban Foreign Ministry calls U.S. accusations false and insists Cuba has zero tolerance for mercenarism, yet court records show 40 prosecutions since 2023, 26 convictions with jail terms up to 14 years. A contradiction in plain sight. A state punishing the very crime it claims doesn't exist. To Washington, that's complicity disguised as control. To Moscow, it's plausible deniability, the perfect ally.
It is irrefutable that none of them have the encouragement, commitment or consent of the Cuban state for their actions.
Analysts say the pattern mirrors North Korea's playbook. Pyongyang has already deployed thousands of troops to Russia under formal state contracts. Cuba's version is subtler: private intermediaries, tourist visas, and quiet ratifications. Together, they form Russia's foreign fighter network, a patchwork of manpower that expands its reach without mobilizing its own population. For Putin, every contract signed in Havana or Pyongyang buys both soldiers and symbolism.
After North Korea, Cuba is the largest contributor of foreign troops to Russia's aggression, with an estimated 5,000 Cubans fighting in Ukraine.
And that brings us back to the heart of the story. What began as a naval courtesy call in Havana has evolved into a geostrategic rebirth, a revival of Moscow's Caribbean presence. By ratifying the Cuba Military Cooperation Law, Putin not only secured a new ally, but planted a flag near America's shores. Whether it's to recruit foreign fighters or project military might, the decree serves its purpose. It tells the West, and especially Washington, that Russia can reach any land, any ocean, any doorstep. A Cuban Missile Crisis redux. Without the missiles, but with the same message.